The first time I laid eyes on it, I knew it was trouble. The rifle was sitting on a table in front of me, glinting in the fluorescent light. It looked like an ordinary hunting rifle, except for one small detail. The barrel was filled with what looked like hundreds of tiny, intricate gears. And as I watched, utterly mesmerized, the gears started to spin. When they stopped, my eyes fell on another detail: the scope. It wasn't just any scope. It was a scope with a face. Well, it would be more accurate to say that it had the makings of a face. There was a nose, 2 eyes, and a mouth. But the features were all slightly askew, like they'd been put together by someone who was drunk or worse, a sociopath. And the eyes, they weren't just any eyes. They were red eyes, malevolent and cold, like the eyes of a snake. "Don't worry," said a voice behind me. "He's harmless, just a little temperamental. He gets a bit excited sometimes." I turned around to see a man standing there, a wide grin on his face. He looked at me for a moment, then gestured to the rifle. "So you're going to use him to do the job, right?" I didn't answer. What kind of question was that? Of course I was going to use it to do the job. I was a hitman. This was my job. The man stepped closer. "You know," he said, leaning in close so that his breath, which smelled like stale cigar smoke, brushed against my ear. "He's got a name. You can call him Tracker." I pulled back, disgusted. Why did this guy think I cared? I didn't care about the rifle. I didn't care about its name. All I cared about was the money. I took the rifle, hefted it in my hands, and walked out of the room. As I walked, I could feel the eyes of the scope boring into me, judging me, daring me. I shook my head, trying to get rid of the feeling, and then I laughed. It was just a rifle, for God's sake. Nothing more than a tool. A very expensive, very high-tech tool, but still just a tool. I found my target in a small bar. He was sitting at the end of the counter, nursing a beer, his back to the door. I could see the broad shoulders beneath his jacket, the way his arm muscles flexed when he raised his glass. I approached him slowly, keeping in the shadows, my eyes never leaving him. He was beautiful in a dark, dangerous way, like a panther, like a coiled snake. I felt the familiar excitement course through me. This was why I did what I did, for the rush, for the thrill of the hunt. And then I saw it. A small, almost imperceptible movement in the shadows beneath his jacket. Was it a muscle twitch, a heartbeat? Or was it something else? Something more sinister? I froze, my hand hovering over the rifle. My heart pounded in my chest. Was I being hunted? Had I been followed here? Was I being set up? Fear, cold and clammy, gripped me, squeezing the air from my lungs. And then the rifle in my hand started to move. It was Tracker, the rifle, moving on its own. The scope, with its twisted, menacing face, swung toward my target. The eyes gleamed with a baleful light. The mouth opened, revealing rows upon rows of sharp, glistening teeth. And then Tracker spoke. His voice was a raspy whisper that seemed to slither through the air. "Found you," he hissed. "Time to die." And with that, Tracker lunged.